Recording. Hello, everybody. Welcome to I believe, our 10th artist talk. I know it's number 10. Even I didn't expect it to get this far. I'm surprised, and I'm actually very glad. And for today, I am also very happy that I got to be able to talk to an artist that I've seen come into the space around the same time when I entered the space, and that is Mod. Um, how's it going, Mod?
It's going good. I mean, how's it go for you?
Pretty good. So to those listening, um, Mod, what do you do? what what is Mod's I mean, well, I don't want to say job, but like Mod, what do you do in like the NFT space?
Well, in the NFT space right now, I currently focus on my art. I am in a CG 3D artist. I've been going for coming up on 3 years now, I believe.
Oh, damn.
Um, yeah, I mean, most people have like 10 years under their belt, and I only have like three, but I feel like I'm keeping up pretty well.
You,
Um, yeah, so that's what I do.
it's man, it's great. It's like it's to me seeing your work evolve over time because I remember when you first joined the space and then knowing that you only have 3 years experience is blowing my mind because looking at some of your work, because I have some of it pulled up now, it does not look like you have 3 years experience. It looks like you've been in the industry for like, you know, a fuck ton. Like, have you been, I don't know, like, have you been just fucking, like for 10 years, low key, just not telling everybody, just fucking on your computer? I'm just kidding, because um, in one conversation, Death was like, I have like 600 paintings in storage. And I was like, what the fuck? you know? Um,
Yeah, nothing like that for me. I don't know. I just picked it up a couple years ago. Just decided to do art because I like making things.
mm,
I have a big engineer mindset. Um, I also am on the spectrum. I have Asperger's.
mm,
So it the way that my brain works is I don't know. It's a little different. I like to pick up things, put them down, but art it kind of stuck with me.
mm.
Usually, I would end up dropping things really quickly after somewhat mastering it, but art I can continue to make and change and do different things. And yeah, I'm a bit of perfectionist when it comes to certain things, so I learn really fast and adapt really quickly, which is why I think that I kind of tap into some of the caliber that of some guys you see now that have really high, you know,
Yeah, like,
time in their craft.
yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of the work and I mean, to those listening, right? Like, if you're looking at some CGI work, it's very easy to tell. Um, say the artist starting out from the professionals, right? And a few of you can tell that through poses, texturing, and all that. And I'm looking at some of your works, and the texturing is insane. Like, I mean, I remember it's easy for the eye, to catch on repeating textures, and your work has none of that, and it's like I'm specifically looking at primal creation, right? Because it's easy. I mean, from my own personal experience using Blender and um, like floral textures, it's hard to get variation, and I see no repetitiveness at all in what you're in, like some of the textures, which is insane. And
Yeah, I try to avoid a lot of repeating textures. I don't like it. Um, I like to tap into a lot of like yes, a lot of it is not touching into the realist or realism
mm,
kind of rendering and stuff. But I don't like having that repeating textures and stuff. It doesn't seem right to me, you know?
right, it feels like it's too video gamey too, right? It's like it breaks. I mean, this is my personal view of it, but sometimes I feel like it breaks the illusion of the picture, to where it's like I'm fully aware of the process and I can,
Absolutely.
right? And it's like, I mean, all of us have played video games, right? We've seen like when you go up really high, when the sky or like the floor textures start to repeat itself, and it's the same thing where you recognize immediately, like, oh, that's a 3D wall. Um, but
Yeah.
so, but what exactly like led you down the 3D path, right? Because like, I mean, just I'm just curious about it, right? Because like everybody has that one thing that just like snags them into the art world, you know. What was like your sort of thing that was just like that caught you and couldn't, you know, leave your brain?
Well, it kind of goes from a different area.
Mm.
So let's see here. A couple years back, I think 2012.
Okay.
Around 2012, I moved to LA and I started doing more music stuff because before that I was doing music stuff in Las Vegas, kind of basically running the rave scene underground out here with some buddies.
Wait, hold up. Wait
Um,
a minute. Running a rave scene underground in Las
yeah,
Vegas? What the
yeah, they're very competitive out here with like clubs and stuff. So like if you're throwing parties and stuff, you're pulling away from their money. So the rave
Okay.
scene is a very underground kind of stuff out here that you do in like either buildings that you can rent out for a night or out in the desert flats, like yeah, that kind of stuff.
Damn.
So
That sounds gnarly as hell.
yeah, it's pretty fun. But yeah, so it's just I don't know. I had my creativity from music,
Mm.
which then I went to LA. I started DJing out there. I was getting invited to clubs like Avalon and Hollywood, and I did stuff there, the DJ, and I
Oh
kept
wow.
progressing there, which I really enjoyed visuals, and I
Okay.
loved visuals. So I started to get into learning Photoshop and visuals in 3D. So I picked up cinema, which I never knew about Octane. I don't even know if it was made then.
Mm.
Um, Actually, no, I think it was. Yeah, it was there. Octane was made then. Um, but yeah, so I picked it up around that time, and I didn't know much then. I didn't really know anything. I was just using it for like making flyers and Photoshop and
Mm.
using the 3D aspect. Um, but yeah, then I moved from there and went into the military. Got out of the military.
God damn.
Uh,
Shit.
yeah, it's a wild ride for me. So, like I move fast. I
Wow.
move very fast. Yeah,
Wow. I mean,
yeah. So I moved out of that and then got into art. I just really liked it. And I needed something for a form of an escape for me. So I Beeple. That's who it was. Yeah, of course.
okay.
Of course, it's Beeple. Beeple of all people. So yeah, I found Beeple back when I was in LA before the military, and I was like, wow, this stuff is awesome. I really wish I knew how to do this.
Mm.
And then I forgot about it for a while, and then I came back to it and found it again after the military, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do that, and here I am.
That's yo, that's
Yeah.
actually crazy. What the so I mean from my experience I have a few well I have one friend who's in the US Navy and he's but his job is to like other than to do like I don't know he's I mean he doesn't tell us a lot of stuff because I think that shit's like you know you're not supposed to say a lot of it but his whole thing was um he also takes photographs right for the Navy and so
Mhm.
what was your thing like in the army something like that or were you like a soldier like you know fucking shooting guns and bombs and I don't know
Doing hoo-ah and high speed shit.
yeah there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, I so my job in the military, I was in the army. I
Mm.
was in for about a year and a half. I had a heart complication, a heart murmur,
Oh
which
wow,
if you have something like that, they don't want you anymore. You're a liability. They'll medically discharge you.
I see.
So that's the route you go down. But yeah, I was 14 Echo, which is Patriot Fire Control, Enhanced Operator, and Maintainer.
Whoa.
Um, yeah, so basically what we were is we were air defense artillery, but we were specifically designated to nuke stopping. That was during the North Korea tension. Um, so yeah, my
What?
job was to fire Patriot missiles at nukes if
Oh,
they ever came by.
God damn. Oh, wait, well, I um I have no words. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
What
it's
the
pretty wild. The nukes are very expensive. Or not the nukes, sorry, the missiles that we fired. They're about $16 million. But yeah.
That's yeah. That's one thing I realized because I well now to think of it, I have another friend in the military, and he was telling me about he's in the Canadian military, and he was telling me about their basic training where they were handing these dudes grenades, and he goes, yeah, we got one grenade to throw. And my first time hearing this, I was like, hold on, I thought you guys got to throw as many grenades as you can. And he's like, nah, dude, that shit costs money.
That's expensive.
And I was like, oh, yeah, shit. And he's like, yeah, no, every grenade is like about $1,000 or something. And I was like, hold up, what are you, sir, what? And then, god damn, holy,
Yeah, it's the military spends a lot of money. I mean, we had three different types of units that we would use for like our hardware. So we'd have a radar, which we would take, and it's its own thing that we would expand and set up. An antenna mast group, which is its own thing we'd set up, and then we have
what
an
the,
engagement control station, which we sit inside and has our all of our computer systems inside. And it's like
holy,
stuff from the '80s, which are now being revamped as of this last 2 years.
that's wild, holy shit.
Yeah,
To,
it's expensive ass equipment too.
so I have a feeling to those listening, right? Mod is like the tournament master, or no, the tournament owner, who's the final boss in the tournament, who you find out owns the tournament when you fight him. You know, you're like working your way. It's like I'm gonna beat the final boss, and then I'm gonna talk to the owner of this competition. No jokes on us. You're the final boss. You know, it's like Mod. What the fuck? I
Speaking of tournaments, I also did compete in esports tournaments for a bit
wait. Oh my
before
god.
while I was doing art. I got out of the military. I love video games. Got competitive with that and was training groups for PUBG, and I would compete out here at the HyperX Arena in Las Vegas, an
Actually,
esports arena. Yeah.
hold on. Am I gonna find like sick MLG clips of you on YouTube? Is that a thing?
No, they didn't really. They were setting up at the time, and like some of the recordings are out. I can find clips and stuff of us competing in tournaments, and I have like photos of me set up as like the winner on their big screen, and me standing in front with their photos. Um, I'd have to go find that. Where is it?
Damn. Holy
But yeah,
shit.
I did that for a bit, esports stuff, but I didn't really see much progression in it without
Mm.
like absorbing your entire self, which I can't do.
You know, it's I've what was it? Ninja? I don't watch a lot of Ninja to those listening, right? Just I have to put this out there so I don't get attacked. Um, but I remember he was talking about when he got drafted into some professional esports thing, like the schedule he had to deal with was just fucking insane. And I was just like, yo, that's
Yeah,
fucking crazy.
their schedules are crazy. It's wake up, eat, play, and
Video.
just keep going, and then until you go to sleep.
That's oh my god. How do you even enjoy a game at that point? That's a job now. That's
Yeah, I
shit.
had a very rigorous training process for certain groups that I would train for PUBG tournaments
Oh shit.
because yeah, I would train a bunch of guys to basically become good at their shooters, whatever it may be. Because I'm a big first-person shooter guy, so I would basically I had different regiments and ways that I would train people. Like I would have them switch games to like Rainbow Six Siege so they can increase their accuracy
I
and
see.
speed and stuff like that, and then memory games and stuff like that. So,
Holy
but I
shit.
had different ways of training them, and it worked. And they won a couple tournaments, and then they kind of just fell off. They realized that it's very, realized the
Yeah.
same thing as me. So they kind of fell out of
Shit.
that.
Well, um, well, do you think the like? So I always ask this every time I find out somebody's been in the military. I always ask them this, um, and to pair it with your experience in esports because you're a trainer, right? Um, do you think any like stuff that you learned or that you dealt with, say for example, like in the military or in the esports scene, like has prepared you for being an artist or has helped you like in ways in art creation, for example?
Absolutely. Learning to adapt
Mm,
and patience is some of the biggest things that come to being an artist.
mm,
Because you can see in some of my early works where I was very rushing in certain parts,
mm.
which are kind of whips in my opinion, work in progress. Um, yeah, it's definitely patience and adaptivity, being able to adapt to literally any tools, any environment, or any skill style, or in this case, it would be materials, colors, things like that.
It's,
But yeah,
I mean, it's very true. Would you say? I was gonna say this is a joke. Did it give you like hunting NFT capabilities? I mean, the army, since you were hunting for nukes.
I wish, because then I'm probably rich right now.
uh, that's actually wild. It's holy shit. I'm so surprised. And to those listening, you know, so you anybody from all walks of life can be an artist, right? And it's I mean, I'm the type of person who likes to think, you know, your experiences enrich your artistic creations, right? The more experiences you have will absolutely add to your creations, even if you're not thinking about it, right? Just because it's just learned experience and um I mean, I mean, for well, like the biggest example I can use, at least work ethic, right? You know, when it comes to the military, you know, like you have to have work ethic, you know, and so that's
Yeah,
it, right.
absolutely.
I mean, you're probably fucking
Timing, scheduling,
yeah,
especially for time for art and around your normal schedules, it can be very difficult, very taxing at times. But
especially
I
with
know most artists, they learn quick how to adapt because they want to make art.
it's true, like, and especially with Twitter, right? It's like it's so easy to like what is it, get frustrated or like
Oh yeah,
and it's like I mean I sometimes I feel this personally, right? Like I feel like shit's moving way too fast and I'm gonna get left behind, right?
yeah,
And then I have to tell myself like, nah, we're gonna hit the pause button, right? Because it's like in the same sense, like I'm a big believer that we're all like really still early in all of this shit, you know?
yeah, absolutely. It's the way I explained it actually last night to my
Mm,
buddy what Twitter is it's a blender. You're sitting inside of a blender, and at any point in time, that blender can turn on, and it can
yeah,
completely take you into a whirlwind. And sometimes it'll stop, sometimes it'll stay dormant. Twitter is the worst and the best
it's true.
platform to be using for NFTs, and we don't have any other option at this moment because it can keep up,
Yeah.
but it can also adapt and get us our attention that we need. But it can be very, very frustrating, especially for new artists coming into the space. That it'll it'll definitely absorb you and test you, especially in the aspect of your ego
Oh, that's one thing.
heavily.
Oh, that's you actually. Thank you for bringing up the whole point of the ego, because that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize when you enter the space. This space will fucking humble the fuck out of your ego real quick. You know.
Yeah,
Oh my god. Oh Jesus.
unless you're already making big buku bucks and
Yeah.
you're stupid popular already, then it may be a different story. But
It's
other people may come up to you and let you know that you're acting like an idiot.
it's
There's times when I got very antsy because you just feel like you're being left out and you can't get out of that feeling.
oh yeah.
Um,
I've felt the
it,
same way. I
yeah,
well I feel the same way honestly every time fucking Bored Ape Clubs pumps like a motherfucker. I just get mad. I just get fucking mad. It's just and like I don't know. It's like because part of me like at least like well this is me explaining part of some of the frustrations, right? It's like I know part of my frustrations is unjustified, right? And people listening, like you have to understand like this space can't move at the pace we ask it to, right? And some people will command sales far better than us, like they're more established, they have either connections which really don't matter in this case, right? But part of me just gets really fucking mad because like money is disproportionately going to projects and not going to artists, and it's insane. Like it's hitting like points to me where I'm looking at it and it's like, how? Like how are artists like sometimes struggling to sell point zero 0.01 ETH, and then a rock project commands 200 fucking ETH? You know, that shit
yeah,
fucking blows my brain. I'm like, oh my god.
yeah. It's I feel the same way. I've actually kind of found a different way to look at it recently.
Hmm.
As projects, they're generating a ton of money for people who have not had this kind of money before.
Mm.
But these people were here typically before the projects came in, the generative ones.
Mm.
And so a lot of these generative projects, some of them are made by artists, which is great, but it's also putting money into pockets that have never had this kind of money, making them into collectors for art.
That's true.
Because there's more art than there is projects.
That's
But
true.
of course, there is more additions in the
Then
projects, than it can be art. So it can definitely be very discouraging, but the amount of money it's bringing and generating in the space is astounding.
it's
It's
yeah.
amazing.
It's
It's crazy.
uh,
Now, the biggest thing I have a problem with is, you know,
mm,
big artists coming in, pulling a shit ton of Ethereum,
and then
and then bouncing out.
yeah. Oh, don't fucking.
Yeah, I'm not going to name game here, but we
Oh,
all know. We see it. We
and
know
man,
exactly who they are.
well, like, yeah, no. To me, it's like, I mean, I to those listening, they already know my hatred for Damien Hirst. Um, I don't hide it, and so I mean personally, like we're gonna see if like a big time artist like Damien Hirst actually stays in the space. But there's been a few who have launched, a nifty getaway, right? That have just like neglected their community, um, beyond belief. And to me, it's actually shocking. To me, it's like what the fuck, right? It's like how how can you do this to your collectors?
Yeah, I think the big problem is a lot of these people that jump in really fast. They should be treated the same way as all of us have been treated, artist
Right,
wise. Take it slow. You don't just want to jump into a project without knowing who the hell's running that project. So
right.
if I went and made a generative project without letting my name out, I'm sure people would ape in because right now that's the hottest shit. But
It's
that could be a nightmare. I could disappear. I could have everything delete if I wanted to in some
it's
way. I
true.
could have a timer on things. Like they don't know.
It's
But
true.
that's just the name of the game right now.
And it,
And
I
but
mean,
it's bringing Ethereum in to different places, so I guess we're gonna run with it
it
because
is
it's conjoined, and that's what's good.
like it
Projects
is.
and art.
Yeah, it is. And it's like my thing with it is like when I get really bad FOMO, right? I just go over on Hicketnunk and pick up a few art pieces over there. That I
Yeah,
mean that has been one of my solutions. If I ever get really bad FOMO, I just go pick up art instead because then that just calms me down, and I feel. I mean, I'm the type of person who just assumes every piece in their collection is worth $1 million, regardless of who says what it is. Like that's how I operate. It's not a very profitable uh, mindset, but it's I just look at every NFT that I buy as like this fucking like Picasso golden thing that I'm like, ooh, it's mine, you know.
yeah,
It's and then but in turn it's like crazy enough like some of the NFT projects that I've invested in are like turning into like nice bags right now in such a way that I just didn't expect, um, which is wild because in the other way in the opposite way where it's like I'm getting mad at these projects, right? It's like and like to those listening, if you're an artist who has invested into a project that's like pumping, I now have the opportunity to sell it to give myself more opportunities to create art. It's like this weird fucking balance game now. It,
yeah.
um, I'm actually I'm curious. Are you a holder of any of the PFP projects that have been launched in the last
Um,
year?
well, I got into Chubbies, which we know how that
Oh,
went.
yeah.
Um, I got very lucky because I got in when before even understanding. I was in the first 1,000 of
Okay.
people who minted it because I got 888, the edition number,
Oh wow.
which turned out to be rare as hell, and I sold it for 5 Ethereum. Um,
Nice.
at the time
Nice.
was 10 grand, so I made out with a stupid high bag in comparison to everybody else.
Hell yeah, dude.
Um, yeah, I got into that one, and then I got into another one, some cat project, not moon cats. I wish it was. Trust me.
Oh, same.
um, some other cat project which kind of flopped, but it's there. I mean, I didn't lose much because
It,
I'm up in profit, but it kind of pushed me off from projects.
mm,
But I always feel the FOMO of every project that comes by.
it's yeah. My projects that I've invested in are like the serious ones. Well, part of me was like super bullish on punk babies for no fucking reason because I was like, yes, 3,000 babies where the creator just came up with the stories of punks fucking. Yes, and I have four. And so I'm hoping these like I don't mind them, right? It's like like in the same case as you, like I got in early enough where all of them were free to claim, only gas, so I'm not losing any money. Um, but
That's good.
my thing, like the two things, or like the one thing I'm in is bastard punks, like begans, and that
Yeah.
shit is like I'm so happy that it did what its thing, because it's like I feel like out of all the PFP projects, it's one of those projects that sort of is artistic enough that has like inherent art value, but other than that, I also don't invest in that many projects. It took me like 4 months to buy into a began, and that was like after they all sold out.
Yeah. I'm hoping I can get into some projects here soon, but I'm actually on the low,
Mm.
planning on working on my own generative
Oh.
project, with some other artists who won't be named. Um, but as of right now, it's we're thinking of a small one, but
Mm.
I'm also looking into a big one with utility, and the small
Okay.
one just as the art being utility, of course, kind of like how
Mm.
punks, um, small edition numbers. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking into that, but right now I'm just focusing on making moon gates because I fucking
Yeah.
love designing and making these things.
Yeah. No,
Gorgeous.
I actually wanted to talk to you about Moongates because for some reason they give me the maddest Stargate vibes, and I don't know why. Like it's not the name. Like those listening, it's like, yeah, Moongate, Stargate. Yes, I get it. But also, Stargate operates on the function of a door that transforms you to these out like alien worlds, right? But I mean, Stargate has had its limitations, right? And then you're messing with a 3D medium that legitimately allows you to mess around with what you're able to depict in such a way that you can actually fuck around with like the what you're depicting and having it look realistic, right? It's not you're not bound by the same limitations, and so it's like it's insane, I have it to those listening, and I'll send you the picture because I have a little. I'll send it to you now. Actually, this is the overlay that's for the artist talk.
Okay.
Um, Hold on, where did I put it? There it is. Um, and so I've been like looking at it ever since you started posting about it because I just find it to be insane, and I think you've had a few ones that have movement, no?
I have had some that have had movement. Let me scroll through real quick and see. You talking about like animated pieces?
Yeah.
Yeah. So recent one besides Moon Gates is Everlasting Icon, which I did for the Nifty Gateway drop with Primal Cipher.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I'll send that to you.
we gotta talk about that too. Please do.
There we go. Just sent it to you. Yeah, that one was. Yeah, that drop was its own thing.
Yeah. Yo, I mean, again, like man, your texturing is insane. Like,
Thank you.
I fuck with Blender, and I mainly use like their plugin Blender toolkit or whatever to get textures, and fucking texturing walls is the fucking bane of my fucking existence. It's like so hard to get a concrete wall to look like a fucking concrete wall. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, and then so many people like have like procedural textures, but they're not actually procedural, and that pisses me the fuck off. I'm just like, it just, I brew in anger. Um,
Yeah, I'm as of this last like the
mm,
beginning of this year, I've really started to learn and adapt new things that I haven't been touching on a lot, which is texturing of materials more, um, and different ways of rendering, scaling things properly and proportionately, to actual size. So like the moon gates,
mm,
those are just above 6 foot. So like you can actually like import the entire Moongate into a 3D world like Unreal Engine and walk around in it if I can get the textures to
I
appropriately
mean,
go.
VR chat, huh?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, I think the polygons are too high because I'm running like, what is it like? I think it's like 3 million
Oh
polygons per Moongate.
shit!
Yeah,
God
the
damn!
environments are pretty big.
How long does it take you to render one?
So The first one would have taken 24 hours, and that's just at 1K by 1K resolution.
Oh my
Um,
god.
and so I use the render network for Octane Otoy,
Okay.
which uses the render token. I spent $12 on the first one rendering it, and I got it done in 30 minutes.
Wait,
Um,
what?
yeah, the render network is killer, man.
Wait, actually? Hold like
Yeah, it's Otoy render network.
to those listening, listen, open your ears and hit the rewind button now. What
Yeah,
what
if you're running Octane, you want to be using the render network because it is. I mean, it's killer, man. It is something that I have seen adapt and evolve over the last probably like year of being in the space because I'm coming up on a year.
Yo,
It's
same.
it's a killer tool to use if you're using Octane because I only have a 1070 Ti and I can't afford like
Mm.
33090s or something like that. So the
You have
render network
to
takes all that out.
do you have to own Octane or have the license for Octane before you can use it, or can it run like other render engines?
Unfortunately, it is just Octane
Okay.
strictly. That's
Mm.
how they get the compatibility to go.
Okay.
Um, but basically, what I do is I just export my file from Octane, my live viewer in Cinema 4D, and it goes into an Orbex file,
Mm.
ORBX, and I just upload it and set the parameters, and it renders through. And
What
it's
the
killer, man.
fuck?
It saves me hours, days, days of rendering.
I mean, I like holy shit. I will.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look into this because
yeah.
like some of my work like I consider myself to be like a multidisciplinary artist because I still like to paint and draw and like the physical aspects of like artworks. But
Mm.
recently I've been messing with Blender because of my recent like project on Foundation. And my biggest thing is I love zooming in on pictures, right? If I can't zoom in on your thing, I don't consider it like to me it's like the quality of the work has to be in the NFT where it's like I can zoom in and see the detail and be able to think of like the process and stuff. And so
Yeah.
usually like as you also know from like personal experience, you can increase the size in Photoshop, right? And so I had been like exporting my shit out of Blender, moving the size up in Photoshop, and because my stuff is like graphic enough, I didn't, the loss of quality doesn't really matter because it's all gonna get, very stylized in the end. But one time I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna render 4,000 pixels by 4,000 pixels. Like that was my thing, and like I'm privileged and blessed enough that my girlfriend like she's into photography, so she has her own like beefy computer that we use for this stuff, and it has an RTX card and all that shit. But even with all of
Mm.
that jazz, I was just sitting there on the computer and I was like, holy fuck, no fucking way is this taking this long. And then so, I mean, like, how the oh, holy shit, you may have solved the problem to a lot of artists listening there.
Yeah, I've been letting other artists know because like I'll see artists talk about like how they're using Octane and they're like, yeah, I gotta wait another like it's gonna take me a week to render this video out, and I'm like, bro, just use the render network. They're like, what the hell is that? And I throw them into it, and it just blows their mind because they get their project done in less than a day on an economy render costs, and it's killer. It's just a great thing. What I do technically, because certain rendering engines
Mm,
get more taxed when you increase the resolution. So I rendered these out in 1K by 1K resolution, and then what
mm,
I did is I have Gigapixel AI, which is it's an AI upscaling um, tool, which is its own application.
mm.
I threw in all 360 frames into that, and I upscaled it by double to create a 2K resolution render,
What
and
the?
saved myself $60 of rendering on top of that by just doing that for about 40 minutes. And yeah,
Oh,
so
what? I just googled gigapixel AI. What mod? What the fuck, mod? Who are you, bro?
their tools are killer. If you're ever looking to upscale, enhance, do anything, look into their tools because they're pricey at first, like $300. That's nothing for an upscaler like they have. I've tested their frame rate enhancer, their upscaling, their video upscaling, everything. They're great tools.
Holy shit, mod. Yo, have you thought about like doing YouTube videos and shit, like educational
I
stuff?
thought about it, especially more recently. I've thought about it because I could easily do it now that I'm
Yeah,
kind of composing myself more with art.
you have the voice for it too. Like to those listening, the first like I called him. He was like, "Yo, let's jump on a voice call to do like audio check," and then I think he said hello, and I was like, "Hold up, wait a minute, is that your voice, sir?"
Yeah,
And I was like, "I."
my beautiful deep voice.
That's yo, holy gigapix. I'm actually
Yeah, a
I'm
lot
gonna
of these big artists, they don't like to share what they're doing for some reason, and I don't know why. Um, so, for a lot of you who are using uh, or making GIFs,
mm,
there is another software that you can use, which Gigapixel would actually work just as good, if not better. I think it's like Nice Video Enhancer or something like that. That's what a
mm-hmm.
lot of other artists use for upscaling and cleaning up things
Oh,
and compressing, because it has a very good compression system inside of it. Um, so check that out if you're doing that. Render engine for, or the render network for Octane, if you're an
mm,
Octane renderer. Yeah, there's a lot
gigapixel.
of tools. Gigapixel for upscaling anything.
I
Or,
mean, they have a denoise AI. They have a sharpening AI.
mm-hmm.
Holy shit. I mean,
And they work killer. As you
like,
can see on my 2K videos on YouTube, man, they look pretty clean.
yeah, I mean, like, part part of me sort of like understands why, like artists try to hide their shit, right?
Yeah.
But like, and it's like I sort of get it where artists don't like. I understand it where if you catch onto a program that's able to do a bunch of stuff that's like super early into its lifespan, I understand not telling a bunch of people until it's more well known, right? Just to sort of keep your bread, it's like it is your bread after all,
Mm-hmm.
right? But in some instances, right, where I can like visibly tell your process, right? Come on, you should be sharing you should be sharing process images, that sort of stuff, because not only does it help other artists in the space grow, but it also helps them evolve the say the aesthetic like that's overall developing in the space, because I mean there is one, right? And then through
Mm-hmm.
that development, the artist also gets to develop their own work further because the space is being built, you know, and
Yeah.
and
It's
s
better to make friends in
the,
the space. This space especially, it's better to make friends.
yeah, it's true. It's very true. Yeah, like
Share your tips, share your tricks, help people out where and when you can. Like, just do it. It helps a lot. Like,
it's it's
I
insane.
made a lot of friends just running around in Rareable's Discord when I first came into the space, and now I have a bunch of people who will come back and just constantly support me. Like, you got Disco Warlock,
Mm.
um, Waku Cactus, or if that's how you say his name.
Yeah, oh
Oaken
yeah,
makes
I
art.
actually can never pronounce his name ever.
Yeah.
I've been reading it as waifu cactus. I don't actually. Oh my god, fuck. Yeah, well, man, it's like again, also like to those listening, it's like you've persevered in this space, right? Like like you said, you're coming up on a year, right? And a lot of us who joined the space are also coming up on a year because Rarible, for some reason, a year ago seemed to be like this entry space to a lot of artists, and
Mhm.
so like we've also seen you for a year be consistent with your work, right? It's like because I mean to those listening, like there are so many people who have just like dropped out of the space like fucking flies. It's actually crazy.
They
It's
vanish.
I mean men it's like I funny enough people speaking of people vanishing, and also to tie it to like our previous topic of project, when the first CryptoPunk ever sold for over $1 million, right? And every crypto slash title here collectible started pumping. I found this thing called Crypto Martians, right? And
Mm.
it was like 0.009 ETH, really fucking cheap. And it was at a point where like ETH was like $2,000 or something. And so that dude like sold out his first drop and then sold out the second drop, and then stuff slowed down and he's nowhere to be gone. like
Yeah.
completely. Twitter deactivated, right? Like collection dead in the water completely. And it's I was just sitting there like, but it was
Cash grabs.
exactly. It's like, and but like that's the thing is like the thing that I don't understand is like how these people don't understand that if they actually stay, they make more money in the end than what they just did, right? Because it's like
Oh yeah.
it's crazy. It is it's fucking crazy.
I mean, for them, it's easy to just disappear because their wallets will still be getting, royalties
Yeah,
from sales and stuff. Granted, they would make more if they stayed, but yeah, it's a crazy space. It's a wild west in here.
it's true.
Yeah, it's coming up on a year, and I've I put a lot of time and a lot of effort into socializing and um, perfecting myself a bit, and trying to keep my head down and learning that, fixing my patience level and my ego
Yeah,
a lot.
Twitter. Yeah, Twitter has a test loves to test us with that shit. Fuck.
Loves to, yeah.
It's like yeah, especially Twitter bots, fucking auto reply bots. Those, oh my god, those.
Yeah, I'm getting them on Instagram already.
Oh yeah, no, I
As
stopped
a couple
posting on
months ago.
Yeah, I've stopped posting on Instagram. Like I post once a month, and it's like an art. It's like a little like I literally call it a photo dump, and it's just 10 photos of whatever I worked on the month, and then I just never look at Instagram again because within 10 seconds, 10 bots are like promote this on this person.
Yep,
It's fucking.
it's really annoying. The
Mm.
oh, for a tip and trick, by the way,
Mm.
Moongate 2. I don't know if you can pull that up.
I'm looking. Yeah, I was actually just looking at them. I, man, it's like I
S-
want to go for a swim. Fuck.
So Moongate 2, a fun little fact for some people that do 3D renders and stuff. I'm not using an HDRI in that. I'm
Oh,
actually using a image. So I'm using a plane that I created a texture, an emission texture onto, which I put onto the plane, and I mounted that plane underneath the camera, and the camera is pushing the plane at the same exact speed. So everything's moving together, so it just looks like this natural HDRI. But it allows you to give it that real glow of stars and things like that. Just a little tip and trick for people who want to do animated stuff with some beautiful stars.
yeah. It's actually it's great that you say that because well from my experience and to those listening, HDRs can fucking fuck up your render times. They can push that shit by a long
Yeah,
by
especially the bigger ones you get.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I it's actually emissions like Maud said is a great way to like get a wall or a plane and use an emission
Hmm.
thing on it, and I don't know. Well, actually, let me ask, what program do you use? Because you've mentioned Octane, which is the render engine, but you haven't touched at all on like your 3D rendering program itself.
I use Cinema 4D as
Okay.
my primary 3D. I've touched in Blender a bit.
Mm,
I technically only use it for certain modeling aspects because I love
okay.
their modeling tools. But yeah, Cinema 4D.
Does the cinema? So I know, and to those listening, you can go check this in their like Blender 2.93 update. They introduced their own sky and texture node that you can
Yeah.
just tie into their world node, and then immediately you have full control over like the most realistic sky thing, and it doesn't push your fucking render times. But does Cinema 4D have that as well or no? Is it
There is certain parameters you can set for things like that, but
mm,
I'm not
okay?
versed in them. So I don't mess with the sky like that unless I'm using an Octane sky, because then it's very simple. It's a gradient settings and
Oh,
things like
okay.
that. That's how I get my really pretty beautiful blue skies, as I use an Octane sky.
Man,
Um,
it's I'm
yeah.
I have Forever open right now, and that sky is fucking insane too. Like
Oh yes, my I Love You project.
that's I like I have
Those
all
are
of
animated.
I have
Forgot about
your
those.
yeah no I have your known origins. I have your Rarible. I have your Maker's Place, and I had um I had your Foundation open as well. Like I have all of it open. All the things.
Yeah,
It's
and now I'm getting ready to shoot for super rare.
yeah no it's I like
I like the idea of making my footprint everywhere, because either way, it's still going to be on chain, and they can
mm,
trade it without being on the platform. So I want to spread myself out like
it,
this.
it's a, it's actually great to hear you say that because I believe the same way. The only thing I haven't applied to super rare because I just don't want to get on camera and and be like, hello, this is me.
Yeah, with my on-camera thing for super rares, I I try to make them feel bad with how
Mm.
many times I've been applying.
Oh,
I go,
hey,
hey, it's my third time now. You know, this is what's changed. But see, I don't know, super rares application. It's still but I've started to understand it more the more I sat around and just kind of looked at it. So that's what my Moongate series is going to be going towards. Is I'm going to be applying those to the super rare application with some other works that I'm doing um, on top of that. So
it's like I'm well now I'm excited to see your work on super. Hopefully, super rare people who are listening to this fucking accept mod. Do it, or I'm gonna send you NFTs, unsolicited NFTs to your wallets. Uh, it's um, I mean, like the way I looked at it is, an artist shouldn't join all the marketplaces when they first joined the space, but since like after the 6 months or so, then right, because then the space, you've seen the space function in its highs and its lows, that you're able to then you know uh
yeah, adapt
expand,
to it.
right? And so to those listening, do like what Mod is doing. Don't join like 10 marketplaces at once when you're first starting. You will get fucked.
It's pretty scary. I did a lot of my works on Rarible first, which I did great. I went over 100 sales so fucking fast, like within like 2 months.
Nice.
Because I was doing multi editions though, so it was like, you know, taking some of my old works, doing like 20 editions a piece on them, stuff like that. Which, man, I wish I kept the Ethereum from that, but I needed it. Uh,
Yeah, I
but
remember all those days. Fuck.
yeah, the Rarible days of when it was hype, man, back
Oh,
in October, that was crazy.
yeah. It's like to those listening, back in October, it was Ethereum was like $700. It hadn't like broke 1,000 yet, and you know, all of us were like just assuming that maybe like 1,000 ether is like in 3 months or so, and then boom, it hit like, I mean, I'm in Canada.
2K.
Yeah, well, I'm in Canada, so we saw it hit 5K Canadian at some point, and that
That's
was
probably got to
like,
be nice for you guys.
oh man, well, dude, so I was one of the people who like, I don't know what happened, but I randomly lucked out in SHIB because I noticed it on CoinGecko out of nowhere, and I just decided to buy some. And then during that fucking time, I couldn't get any fucking ether out because of the gas fees. Because at some point it was like, I was like, okay, I have this much, I can get ether and like start buying like NFTs, and then the gas fees was like more than I had in ether by like double, and I was like, oh fuck. Like,
Gas was a nightmare at that
oh,
time. It was horrible.
I left Rarible because of gas. Because I like at some point I was locked out, and then I had priced my shit. Um, like all of us like woke up one day and then prices were pumping to where like our point zero 0.01 ETH listings were no longer worth it because gas was just so fucking high, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I left Rarible after that. I was like, okay, I can't mint shit, and then I just moved
Yeah.
to OpenSea, and then uh, like now I'm on Foundation, but it's like the same thing. Like I minted 6 NFTs on Foundation for my project because I had one project, finished it, minted it, and then now I don't want to mint anymore because it's just sinking too much funds into just minting, right? The
Yeah. It at one point, shit, it was costing like $300, $400 just to mint
Yeah,
back in
oh
that
yeah,
time. Now, right now, it's still $80 to mint, even on some of the low ends.
yeah. It's like
My
it's
first mint was costing me $20.
yeah. It's I remember mine too. Actually, my first mint was like, I learned minting at midnight in Canada time was like best, and one of my first mints was like $4.
Yeah.
And then we haven't seen those days. We're not gonna see those days. I don't think
We'll
so.
never go back to those
Oh no.
unless Ethereum 2 brings in something crazy.
I don't
I
know.
really hope it fixes gas. I hope to God.
It's I don't know. It's like it's crazy. Like I saw somebody tweet out today that Ethereum is broken and rewards um those who hold more Ethereum, and it's like it becomes very true when gas wars start to happen, because that's what happened today. Like the reason gas was so fucking high is because two drops were happening on fucking OpenSea, and motherfuckers were just fucking fighting over gas, to where I'm just like, well, fuck. Like to those listening, like literally, there's a gap in the Began sale for 2 hours when gas was just too high for anybody to buy any NFTs, except the two drops that were happening. That's literally
Yeah.
like sales just died all over the fucking board, and then people moved to Hiketnunk, and then Hiketnunk went down. Are
Yeah,
you
that was like when we were prepping to mint for Nifty Gateway, that drop. It was like 100, $200 just a mint a piece. So we're like, how the fuck do we price everything for this? Because open editions, we're like, okay, we're gonna make them like fucking $700 so people can mint, and we can still make some form of a profit off this because we're doing a split. And then ours got pushed, which sucked. But
well, I actually wanted to ask, since you're essentially the first, you're the first artist I've talked to personally who has done a drop on Nifty, and to those listening and in the Meta crew, you're also the first artist, I think. Well, not the first artist they've talked to, but this is one of the first times they ever hear somebody talk about being in a drop. So I actually wanted to ask, like, how was that Nifty drop? Like, how? Because nobody knows how their drops go from like the artist side, right? All we see is this is happening, then pay that, But I was just curious.
so how it worked is you have like an organizer you're assigned from
Okay.
Nifty Gateway who then controls that day, and then that day he organizes the time slots, which then he'll set up the works with their back end, and the works will be set in place ahead of time, and then they prep them,
Mm,
which is pretty weird. It was weird having somebody else take control
okay.
of your works when you're always so used to having it
Yeah.
in your control. Because now those works they're not minted under um,
The
uh, they're not minted under Primal Cipher, who's what we did the drop with, the collaboration drop with.
mm,
They're minted under Nifty Gateway. So
yeah.
that's even weirder for me. Like
Well,
having my name underneath somebody else's wallet.
that was gonna be my next question, because one of the things that, I mean, like, always rubbed me the wrong way, just like from an artist point of view, is like everything is accredited to being created by the Nifty Omnibus, right? And
Yep.
to me, that like at first thing, I like when I first joined the space, that freaked me out a little bit, because I was like, hold up, like, what do you mean, fam? Like, where's the attribution to the artist? Um, so yeah, you felt the same way, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very weird. Because I mean, like, what happens if Nifty Gateway becomes no more for some random thing? Like, then we have to trade amongst the on the like just on chain
Mm,
outside of Nifty Gateway, and it becomes very weird because then you don't know who came from what and what came from who,
yeah.
artist wise. So then you're just like, it almost becomes worthless at that point. So I don't know if I'll be doing any more drops with Nifty Gateway. It was very, very cool to do a collaboration with Primal Cipher. I was so fucking like stoked that he messaged me and was like, "Hey,
Oh, he
I'd like to have
messaged
you in a
you.
drop." Yeah,
Wow.
I was like, me of all people. That's when I was like really making a name for myself in the NFT space, and everybody was like kind of buzzing around me because I was doing my showcases and stuff like that.
Oh,
Um,
man, that's awesome.
yeah, so he hit me up, and that we were supposed to drop in uh, April. No,
Mm,
not April. Sorry. Yeah, no, it was April. May, June, July, August. Yeah, because they pushed it back. I think 4 months, basically,
four
because
months.
yeah. So what happened was is we had quote unquote too many artists to drop at once. They didn't think it would be a good idea. See, I
What?
knew a drop was coming in the market, and I was like, "This is a terrible idea. Don't do this."
Mm.
And they said, "Sorry, but this is going to be the best way to make the most, to be the most profitable." I'm like, "That's definitely not how this is going to work." And they're like, And then I realized most profitable for them because they brought on Eminem that same day after kicking us off. That's who they made the time slot for.
Oh.
So they said, "Fuck all you small little artists. We're making some room, and we're gonna put Eminem here." And no one gave a fuck.
Yeah,
No
no,
one
the
cared.
Eminem. What the fuck? Yo, that's actually.
Yeah. And then we dropped, and we did fucking. It did good, but it was fucking horrible in the expectations of what it was supposed to be in comparison to the first half of our drop. Because the
It's.
first half of our drop artists, they did great. They did
Mm,
awesome. They had some awesome open edition sales. I had 3 open edition sales.
oh.
Some of the people who were even bigger than me had 1.
Wait, actually?
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
the.
it was really sad. Like I felt really bad for some of those guys. They were all awesome though. All the artists that were in that
Mm.
were over time we became very good sports about it, and it was just really cool to be with them. Like Carlos, Marcial, Fask,
No,
Kid
oh,
Mograph.
don't say that. Don't say. Oh, no.
Yeah,
All of you guys were in the
Carlos-
same drop.
Oh
What?
yeah, there was a ton of us. There was more. I think Glass Crane was there. I have to go back and look at the chat.
What
But yeah,
the.
there was a lot of us. It was a
What?
killer drop, and Nifty Gateway really fucked the pooch on that one.
Oh my god. No.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then our organizer bought one of my NFTs for 1.5 Ethereum. The guy who was organizing our time slots.
I mean, like, it's the least he can do.
Yeah, I guess whatever. I mean, it's not going to shut me up, but I'll take it. I'm not stupid.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, it's an art sale. That's how we treat it, just art sale. Like, but like,
He did actually seem like he liked it though. So
okay,
I mean,
there you go.
he is a collector. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it to him. You know, fuck it, we'll take it.
No, but it's like, even then, like, man, that
Yeah.
that just makes me really fucking mad.
It was a legendary drop. It was very good.
Because I remember you tweeting about it. You were saying, "Hey guys, I'm in the Nifty drop," and all of us were like, "Holy shit, man! Damn, dude, nice." And then again, like Nifty is just like, well, Nifty has this bad habit of not supporting the artists either before their fucking drop or after their fucking drop. You know, it's like
Yep.
it's like one of those things where it's like if we look at the last, and to those listening, literally go look at who talks to, like, for example, Ferocious, Christie's, right? The art house that we as an NFT community are trying to kill, right? Because they built their backbone on just sales of art stuff, right, without giving royalties to people, has supported Ferocious in, and RT Studios have supported Ferocious far more than places like Nifty Gateway, which is fucking insane because Nifty Gateway is the one that sort of popularized Ferocious and put them on the fucking the like just like I don't know if that's fully correct. Like I don't remember. Like I remember it was like a few drops, then Ferocious's name just blew up, right? And a Nifty drop was one of them, to where everybody was like, yeah, you need to buy this, and then they just neglected it after that, and then they seemingly like neglect every artist that drops after, like no mention of them, nothing. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. There's Nifty is it's crazy just to think about that whole thing. And then Christie's, like I get why Ferocious did it, and he's actually very smart for doing it. He's very, very wise for taking that offer.
Oh, absolutely.
So I respect him for that. He's doing really good, and I'm very proud. Especially at his age, man. He's a killer artist. But yeah, I can definitely still see them falling off over time.
Oh, absolutely. I think they're dead. I just brought them up as an example of like how is this, like, dinosaur treating, the foundational artists of the space better than the space that is aiming to be foundational in the space.
Yeah.
It's, man, fuck. Now I'm mad. No
Yeah.
way did they.
This Nifty drop, by the way, I have all the names now. It's Jardine 3D was in there. Silvio Vieira, Vavelli, Frank Wilder, Glass Crane, Ben Morrow, John Norlander, Kid Mograth, Totemical.
Totemical. Yeah, I follow.
Yeah, Totemical. Thank you. Primal Cipher, Fesk, me, Render Fruit, Carlos Marcial, and Rifki.
What the fuck?
Which, tons of killer artists in there. Like, top of the game kind of stuff. I don't know. Besides me, I'm kind of like a little guy in my opinion.
Yo, yo. I mean,
But
honestly, listen. All of us. The way I looked at it is, we're all gonna be little guys until 1 year passes. I mean,
yeah, basically.
like legitimately, I'm to those listening, I'm counting till the days 1 year passes, and I'm gonna call myself an OG, and I think everybody who's been a year should call themselves an OG, because we've seen some fucking shit in this fucking year.
Technically, we're already considered OGs compared, or according to the NFT community. They
Wait,
were saying
actually,
everybody from like October and before are OGs.
well,
I'm like, okay.
I mean, like I knew about NFTs in October, but my first mint was in like September. Does that count?
Yeah, but you were in the space, like you were talking, right?
Oh,
Because I saw you in October.
I think so. I actually,
Yeah.
it's, I mean, like, I remember fucking Blue Kirby. I remember that very well.
Yep. Then you are an OG. If you know Blue Kirby, you're an OG.
It's actually to those. Oh man, it's fucking crazy that fucking that whole thing happened, and like so many people have joined the space now that have no idea who Blue Kirby is. The fuck fest that happened on Rarible for like a week.
Bro, a month after, like nobody knew who he was.
Yeah,
Like I'm like, wait, this just happened.
it's like, yeah, no, he locked his Twitter and then moved to sushi or some shit, and then everybody was like, yeah, cool, he's Blue Kirby, we're with him. And then
Yeah.
we had BitBoy Crypto. He joined at
Oh
Rarible.
my god.
Fuck. That was fucking. Or and then Ivan on Tech, and then what is it? Lux Cards making the Ivan on Tech card, shitting on Ivan on Tech. Those were
That shit
wild.
was fucking hilarious. I love the Lux cards. I love that team.
Oh man,
They're fucking amazing.
I got lucky enough to win Lux card number one in a giveaway on Twitter, and I refused to sell it.
If I had that money back in that time when the Lux cards were super active and hot,
Yeah,
cheap, I would have bought the fuck out of them.
yeah,
They're
it's
so cool.
man, like their floor hit an ETH at one point. Like I remember it,
Yeah.
it was crazy, and then now like everything like it's like people. Well, here it's actually it's cool. It would be nice for those listening to get your thoughts about what do you think crypto winter. Well, like, do you think crypto winter is gonna hit soon, right? Because like a lot of people are like talking about when crypto winter hits, and now that both of us have been in the space for like over a year, we've heard talks about crypto winter for at least like 3 times, right?
Yeah.
And it sort of come and then it sort of left, and so like how do you feel like about it? Well, again, like what do you think about like this sort of cycle thing, right, where it's like these artists that joined the space when we did, right, like they commanded such high sales, like Lux, and they're still putting work out there, right? Like Lux hasn't disappeared, their team has
Mhm.
grown, and they're putting more stuff out there. um but like, well, here, let me phrase it, like, what do you tell to those listening, about crypto winter? That's a better way to phrase it.
Crypto winter will weed out the weak ones
Yeah.
when it happens. Now, granted, there's going to be a lot of very smart collectors who are going to move a lot of their liquidity into stable currencies
Mm.
while the winter's happening, and then they're going to shift back once the winter's in full effect to go back into buying. So there's going to be a buffer time when winter starts of nothing happening, and then they're going to go back to buying in the middle of the winter.
Mm.
And it's going to be nice, but it's going to scare off a lot of people really quick because of how nothing is moving. Um, Granted, for how hot the NFT space is, I think it might still continue to move during the winter.
Oh, I think
But
so too. Like, I
because you got like, I don't even know if we'll hit a winter when we're supposed to, because we're past the winter that we're supposed to
that's
hit.
true. I mean,
Because what, Visa and fucking
yeah,
Wells Fargo and
crypto
all
punk.
these motherfuckers. Yeah, Discord's now getting into Web3 DeFi and an integrated crypto wallet now for NFTs.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I got asked to do a survey for them, and they talked about doing Web3 integration, NFTs for buying and selling on Discord, wallet integration, and
Holy shit.
DeFi.
Holy shit. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm excited for this because I sent out a tweet today because I realized today for the first time that you can use VR chat without having a VR set. Right? I was like, wait,
Yeah.
hold up, I could be in these places, and then there was to those listening, I don't know if you know about this, but there's this like this random Japanese obscure rave house that I discovered called. Hold on, I'm gonna find it because like I made sure to like force myself in there the moment I saw it. I was like, hold on, this is no way this is happening. It's called Ghost Club, right? And it was like this weird thing, legitimately, where like I had to add this person through VR chat, and then when they're online, then there a show is happening, and then you join them. But it's like this weird. It's like very stylized, right? And then I'm looking there, and I'm like, holy fuck! If VR chat introduces Web3 or NFTs or even like a MetaMask plugin, we're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
We're done. Like
I've been thinking about that since like the beginning of the space that I joined. Like, I was immediately thinking like, because I looked at Decentraland, and I was like, Decentraland could really be something so much more.
Yeah.
Imagine if it got integrated with VR chat,
right?
because they could easily do it, and it would be fucking insane. And I definitely see us hitting that point coming up very soon with all this innovation happening. We're about to. Okay, so the way I kind of project things is we've already hit one boom. We're gonna hit another boom coming up very soon, and then we're gonna hit another boom after that. Now I'm not sure anything after that, but there's still two more booms that are gonna happen for the NFT space, and they're going to be big.
Oh.
So if you think shit's hot and fucking heavy to handle right now,
it's not.
Get ready.
Oh yeah, no, it's
buckle
not.
in, because this is not shit.
It's no. I like. Funny enough, like, yeah, no, we're so early to where it's like I. Funny enough, I was in the opening of Zero X Society's show yesterday, or their secret launch, and I was asking the bartender, "Hey man, like you work in this NFT thing, have you bought any NFTs?" And the guy goes, "No." And it surprised me because like this dude works in the show, right? He serves drinks to people who are drunk, right? Like to motherfuckers who shouldn't be talking about NFTs or like their crypto when they're that level of drunk, right? But people get there, they get fucking drunk, right? And I was surprised. I'm like, how have you not bought into the NFT? Like, dude, you see so many people come drop fucking money just to drink and talk about NFTs, right? And then so to me it's like to pair that with like, yo, we're so early. Like part of me thinks like we're gonna have so many fucking booms, it's gonna be insane. Like
we are so fucking early, it's not even funny, and people don't understand how early we are. I have shit up my sleeve that I've been working on for a while now.
Oh, are you allowed to say
different...
or?
Okay, so I won't say a whole lot, but I've been I've been working on an ARG, an alternate reality game, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, like Cicada 3301, puzzles, cryptographic kind of stuff.
I'm a big fan of that shit, yeah. Holy shit.
Obtaining keys from said puzzle, but I've also thought about making that a whole series of games that come every once a year, essentially. And the prizes also come with an NFT plus physical. And there's multiple winners and collectors that can collect to support it. And the physicals are pretty fucking cool. I can't talk about what they are. And then I've been working on prototypes for desktop holograms.
Wait,
basically,
yeah. What? Oh, wait. What?
Yeah, so essentially imagine like I'm not sure if you've ever seen like little pyramids.
I did a project. Using I don't remember the math, but I had to like double it or triple it. I had to hang it from the ceiling for my art school. So it's the pyramid that's cut on the top, so it's inverted, and then it catches like the projection from four sides, and then okay, yeah.
So I'm thinking about there's a different method that I'm using that would essentially make the pyramid almost invisible, but I won't talk about that. So it'd be very cool to have those, and they'd basically be little desk computers as well, because they're going to be running Raspberry Pis, little simple ones. So which you could quote unquote integrate for cold storage, things like that, displaying your NFTs.
Well, here I'll let you know this too. I've had this stoned thought ever since I remembered I used this thing at my friend's house. NVIDIA has this thing that you can connect to your computer, and it's like a motion sensor, right? That can detect hand movement, right?
Right, like a tracker?
Yeah. So, well, this involves me letting out a little bit of my like artistic secrets, but one of the programs that utilizes it is Touch Designer, and it's like
Mm.
this thing that you plug in, and it's like a depth camera, right?
Right.
It's like, well, it's like a program. Nvidia has their own built-in program that allows you to like, fuck around and pick up boxes on your computer through your hand, because it senses the
Ah, I know
depth
what
and
you're
all.
talking about.
And so, I mean, like you just saying like Raspberry Pi, just you can also connect that with like the Nvidia hand depth sensor thing,
Yeah.
and you got fucking uh Tony Stark. Hold on, Mod, are you Tony Stark?
I like to think the way that he does. Absolutely. I've got a lot of big ideas that if I had the money to pump them out, I would definitely be a force to be reckoned with in this space if I had the money. But that's what I'm working for. So I'm working my ass off on art to come out with awesome projects, and as well as incentives for my collectors coming up.
Mm.
Um, Different things that will not just artworks that'll be airdropped to them, but I've also been, the generative works would be a form of collectibles, so those would be isolated
Mm.
airdrop to collectors, things like that. Um, so yeah, I've got a lot of stuff that I've been thinking about and working on. I've got some more stuff, but
Oh,
those are kind of super under wraps.
holy
Um,
shit!
I had building privileges for Maddie's Decentraland plot and Pranksy's Decentraland plot to build on
Do you still
both of
have
those.
them?
I think I do actually. I haven't checked
Listen.
because I don't know. I just never like at the time I wasn't doing
Mm.
structures,
I see.
but now I am. Now I'm actually getting into building structures because I love designing buildings and minimalist design and brutalism design. I love that kind of stuff.
Well, honestly, I mean, like if Maddie already gave you the permission, right? And if he gave you the permission, he knows who you are. I mean, listen, man. Like I recommend just hit him up in the Metakey Discord and be like, "Yo, I still have the permission. Can I still build something?" And I guarantee you, like the Meta crew alone, like his Discord, the Metakey Discord alone will fucking love it. Because everybody's looking for like some sort of utility to bring, and and like Peanut Butter and Kevin on Earth, they host a lot of events in Decentraland, and so
Right.
I mean, man, I think it would be cool actually. A mod piece in Decentraland would be fucking fire, especially because I think you can animate shit in Decentraland too. No?
Yeah, I've messed around with their builder, and it's actually really, really simple. I actually can import everything from my Cinema 4D into the Decentraland builder,
Holy shit,
which
yo,
is even cooler. So I would build everything in Cinema 4D and then import it into there.
do it,
Um,
do it, mod,
yeah,
please.
I think okay. I'll probably do it for Maddie. Pranksy, they're kind of on their own.
No, Pranksy. I mean, like to those listening, I'm thankful. Like Pranksy, when we first joined the space, had this opportunity for like wearable artists to collaborate with him, and I'm one of the lucky ones that he decided to collaborate with. Now my shit didn't sell out, so I still I it is what it is. But it's like now I think like he's gone way too big to like be able to even be approachable in the sense like I mean yeah
I
no
I DM Pranksy every once in a while. Like sometimes I like I look at a project and I'm like, should I buy this? And I'm like, I should ask Pranksy.
does he
Pranksy knows.
does he respond?
Pranksy was like, no. Yeah, Pranksy would be like, I wouldn't. I'm
Oh,
like, okay,
okay.
cool. That's all I need.
It's
um, but yeah, I've collaborated with Pranksy as well. Sold a couple editions. I think almost half is what it
nice.
was. I don't know. It wasn't my best piece, but it
Yo,
was
it's like
pretty
a
cool in my opinion.
oh, I mean, I treat that as part of history. Yo, I mean,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I think. Listen, like, hey, fuck. Now I'm getting FOMO that I should do list because he gifted me the piece that I made with him. He gifted me one, and
Yeah.
so I mean, who knows? Maybe in like a year we get to be like, listen, hey, this is a Pranksy collab.
Yeah.
I mean, I,
Shit, do I still have mine or did I sell it?
I
I should check that.
it's well he delisted a lot of them too, so like not a lot of them have been getting exposure as of late, which
Yeah.
is and it's like he's busy
It's all right.
with his NFT boxes, which also I mean I hope gas wasn't fucking high for the last week because there are so many nice stuff for under 1 ETH in the NFT boxes right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Or I'm working on getting my ETH built back up so I can get going.
Yes.
But I have two foundation pieces right now that are actually, they triggered auction yesterday and today.
Yeah, I see
Um,
that.
they're going to be my last low pieces I'll ever do. Um,
Okay.
so low costs will be basically around zero point 0.8 Ethereum from
Nice.
now on, because my average is 1 Ethereum,
Okay.
and for 1-to-1s, and then yeah, my all-time high is 1.5.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
So
I
yeah,
like.
that money's going to go towards printers, 3D printers for a
Oh shit!
project.
What the? Okay, okay. Mod,
Got to get some resin printers and start pumping some works out.
I'm okay. I am now convinced. I'm fucking talking to Tony Stark. That's it. Elon Musk is not Tony Stark, sir. You are. I mean, yeah, no. I mean, like, it's crazy. Like, I used to be a fan of Elon Musk until I joined the NFT space, and then now I fucking detest the guy with every fucking bone in my being. I don't know why, but I just fucking hate him.
I hate a lot of the gimmicky stuff that he does that just like is memey.
Yeah, I hate it.
But as an inventor, I love him as an
Oh
inventor. He
well,
is
yeah.
a
I mean,
fucking genius.
yeah, no, I can't hate like on Tesla. I hate on Elon Musk the person.
Yeah,
Just
that's fair.
the Twitter. I hate. Oh, here, I hate on Elon Musk the Twitter account. Whoever runs that Twitter account needs to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
uh, well, um, I wanted to ask about this before we left off, because it's like one of those things that's popped up in a few of your works, right? And to me, I personally I think it's really cool because I treat it as like the sort of evolution of the Halo, right? From like Renaissance times, and
Hmm.
so in a lot of your works, and we can like you can like push this to like explain, but it's like I see a lot of like square neon signs, right? Or like emissions, like a square uh,
Yes.
with the emission to like a glowing, right? And so I mean, personally, when I look at works like that, I read it as like a variation on Halo. And is that part of the inspiration, or like what inspired you, or like what inspires you to like utilize like some of the images that you use, because you have like a I don't want to say assets because that just makes our stylistic choices sound like it's a thing that but it's like you have like multiple depictions that are showing up throughout works, right? And it's like if it's not like that neon, for example, if it's not in a box format, for example, like in Coded Love, it's going up into the sky, right? And so,
Hmm.
and then for the moon gates, there's not a lot of neon, but it's like there's still like that light glowy element that resembles like Halo with the moon right in the middle, and also you have like the outlines of the circles around it. So like I'm just curious about like your inspiration for that, because not a lot of people are actually doing that in the space at all, you know.
Yeah, I love the neon lighting, kind of like primitives.
Mm,
It creates a form of symmetry within the image,
mm,
and I love it. And nobody else really does it.
mm.
The first time I ever did it actually was in Abnormal Aspect,
Okay.
which is probably one of my absolute favorites that I've ever done. First time I ever played with subsurface scattering as well. Um, I don't know. It just locked in with me, and I fell in love with the idea of having primitive either beams of light or, you know, primitive shapes with lights that are frames. I
Mm,
don't know. It's just something that I really, really like. And it is something that I am going to carry
mm.
forever. The moon gates don't have it yet. There will be some that will have
Oh,
it. I have a fuck ton of Moongate ideas. Like I'm above 30 right now, I think,
holy
for
shit.
Moongates. Yeah,
God
I have
damn.
a lot. I have a lot of work to do because I spend about 20, 30 hours each on them, not including render times and bug fixes.
Well, hold on.
So
Do you have like a normal job at all, or like?
no,
Hey, all right,
I
nice.
so I do freelance work for
Okay.
computers. I build, repair, virus removal, all that stuff, hardware, data recovery, that kind of
Holy,
stuff on my own.
the shit you've seen then, huh?
I master computers. Yeah, yeah. I've seen a lot of shit. um, but yeah, I do that, and then I kind of just take care of the house. My girlfriend works, and
Okay.
take care of the house. And then when I make pretty good money off NFTs, I've been buying some good stuff we need and paying off a lot of debt that we have.
Okay, no,
Um,
I was just asking because
so
it's
yeah,
like, I mean, like I don't know if you've seen this, but like people have been like sharing this article, comparing like the amount of works Picasso and why am I blanking out on his name right now? Holy fuck, what's his name? Shit, the Campbell Soup, Andy Warhol. They were
mm,
comparing Picasso's and Warhol's work production to all the other artists. And at the scale, it's like Picasso's in the thousands, right? He's like 10,000 works, and Warhol is a little bit there. He's like close to him, and then every person after that is just like not even hitting 1,000 works produced, right?
yeah,
And so I took that upon myself, and like I at least as an artist, like I to me it's like I only care about art in the sense where it's like that's the only thing I'm good at. That's the only thing I'm willing to do in life, right? All mediums of art are acceptable to me as long as they're in the art, right? And so
right,
to me it's like the whole scarcity thing, like I don't even care about that fucking argument, because to me it's like I just like producing and minting, and it doesn't matter if it sells. I have like faith in my skills and abilities, right? And so I was just wondering like if it was this, like if I asked if you were working because your work production is a lot, and I was just like that's why I was asking, um
yeah.
and it's
So
mm,
I work a little different than most
oh,
artists. I so when I come up with an idea, it just shows up.
okay,
I don't plan it out. I
mm,
don't go, this is what I should make. No, my brain just goes, hey, here's an idea, make it. And I just make it.
okay,
It's so I suffer from manic chronic depression,
mm,
PTSD, and uh, ADHD.
okay,
So it's a big mixture in my head
mm,
to deal with that kind of stuff. So I like a lot of escapism, so video games, movies, stuff like that. And if I
mm,
don't get enough of that, my brain will come up with these things and just
oh,
start throwing stuff at me. So that's how I started doing art,
okay,
because I started taking a break from video games for so long, and it kicked me into that. And I was like, I can make these things,
mm,
so I did. That's how Moongates came about. I was like, what's something that I could do that I can continue and I can make
and
and keep going in some way, but it could almost be the same, but it can adapt.
mm,
And Moongates came to be because I love Moongates because they take you into a new world, which usually transfers into a garden.
mm,
But these Moongates will take you to different worlds and different things, different places, maybe underwater
mm,
or, you know,
that's
in the
gonna be
bayou,
cool.
which is the next one. The next one I'm doing is a bayou scene with some rundown houses, and you're
Oh
going
wow.
on a boat through water, and there's fireflies going around. It's very beautiful. Some fog and caustics and stuff like that. But yeah, so I work a little differently. Most people plan their stuff out and work
Mm,
on it over time. I have to sit down and do it.
okay,
So
nice.
I'll usually hang on to an idea until I know I have the time.
Okay, that's it's actually, I mean, now it just makes your work cooler because now I'm just like, what the fuck? You just sat, banked that out, and then was like,
Yeah,
what the fuck, mod? Oh my god! Like,
yeah. And as I'm thinking about the idea, I'm actually thinking about in my head how I have to
to
bring those
execute.
things into effect
Mm.
in Cinema 4D. So my brain's already calculating those things, which is really cool for me. It takes a lot of the workload away and time.
And it's actually great that you say that because we brought this up in one of the talks that we had like in the week last week or the week before that, where I mean, to those listening, it often can sometimes feel, um, at least if you've had like art trading, that you sitting and thinking about what you're gonna paint isn't work compared to you making studies of your painting. I'm talking about like from the fine art perspective, and
Yeah.
I've started to notice that a lot of people who don't have the fine art education don't have that little limitation at all in their head, right? They're able to consider, they're like, to them they're not bound by the stress of, oh fuck I gotta draw, oh fuck I gotta paint, oh fuck I gotta draw,
Yeah.
and a lot of artists, and to those listening, like if you're thinking like, oh like is it valid for me to sit and think for 2 days straight about my painting before actually putting a mark on the paper, or like dragging my model into Cinema 4D? Oh, absolutely, 110%. You know, it's like it's part of the mental process, just like anything. It just happens internally. It's not external, right? Just because it's not recorded in like your sketchbook doesn't mean that it's not valid, right? And so,
Mhm.
I sort of function the same way. But I also like doing studies here and there, but that's because I just like drawing. um, but it's actually crazy that like you can like what the fuck.
Yeah, my brain never stops moving. I'm actually in the middle of trying to get some ADHD medication that will work for me
I
to try to
see.
slow my brain down. But for the meantime, my brain already works on art while I'm not
Mm,
working on art.
I mean,
Because, like, I learned in the past, I have probably maybe 50 plus works that have never been completed and I'll
mm,
never go back to because I just didn't have the time
listen,
to complete them.
that's when you know you're a true artist. When you look back and you have a few works that you're just like, oof, nope.
Yeah.
It's a sign, right? Because it's a sign of like you working. Now that's not working out, and it's like it's to those listening again. Like one of the things that you learn through just like works unfinished work is when to stop on a work that's not succeeding, right? There's a reason why, like for example, like you have 50 works that are unfinished. It's because I guarantee you, at least part of your brain was like thinking about it, saying like this is not gonna work out in the end. It's not worth my time, right?
Yeah.
And it's
There's, yeah.
I mean, like and that's also valid because your brain recognizes that you're like, okay, cool, um, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You know, it's I don't suffer from ADHD. I suffer from ADD. So I sort of have like I understand a little bit of what you mean by your brain just never fucking stops, because
Yeah.
my brain like I never stop. I ever since I joined the NFT space, I go to bed in a waiting position, not in a sleeping position. Like my arms are crossed. My legitimately like I'll sit there in bed and my arms are crossed because I'm waiting to wake up to to go back to the NFT shit, you know, and so
Yep.
it's like both a blessing and a curse because like so many ideas, but like you know we need to slow down.
Unfortunately, we can't.
Yeah.
Not people like us. The brain
No.
always moves.
Um, yeah, it's well, like I mean, my only tip to you, sir, would just be like, um, food. You have to eat when you're on ADD medication. And to those listening, if you're on ADD medication, you gotta eat. Do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that shit will fuck you up. I used to be on AD. I don't know. I don't know if ADD medication is similar to ADHD, but my
It's pretty
AD
much
is it.
similar.
Yeah, it's my ADD medication like fucked my stomach up, and now I wish I just forced myself to eat my food that my mom used to tell me when I was in school. She's like, "Yo, Anubis, eat your fucking food. You're not gonna like this." And I'm like, "No." And then here I am. But yo, it's well, I other than the you like enjoying the use of like enjoying the use of the neon and the symmetry of it. What are your other inspirations for your work, right? Because it's like um well I don't know if it's a well like I'll classify it as like or some of your works have some sacred geometry in them as well, right? At least that's how or like is it
Yeah.
um
I know Patufasimus. That one has the it's the alchemy symbol for squaring the circle. I actually have that tattooed on me.
oh
Um,
nice.
Typically, that's to do the impossible or turn things to gold.
Yeah.
So, do the impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do use some alchemy and symmetry. I don't know. The squares and the neon beams.
Mm-hmm.
They're just me.
You
Like, I
just yeah
fixate
okay.
on them a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
think it adds a lot of depth to the scene, and it really it allows you to appreciate things more with the lighting,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. Because everybody will always do like they're okay with just throwing in a fucking top down light, and it blocks a lot of angles and a lot of
It
curves.
does.
So if you go to Stand By Me over here, you can see the ridges on the body. You can see the curvature because of the light, and it glows, and it's
Yeah.
just beautiful to me, and I
and
love it.
and it's like it's also just like a secondary light source that just adds
Yeah.
well like my favorite like to me, I'm looking at right now primal creation, and one of my favorite things, at least when in like statue like models, right, is when you have a direct light on top of the figure and then some sort of light from the back, because then you get a really nice sense of the actual form of the sculpture, you know. And in in a medium where you can't walk around this three-dimensional image, right, because it's a render of a still image, like, man, you're utilizing it in such a perfect way, because you know those who are looking at your works can see the form, right? They're able to actually see how like this arm is rounded, and it's just not like a top, like you said, it's not a top down light, right? Like the extra secondary light source like also just like helps the depth of it, you know, like of the figure
Yeah,
itself, which is it's wild.
yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I use that type of lighting. That's just what it is. You know, it's supposed to allow you to appreciate these things a little bit more because I like doing single like image works,
Mm,
but I would love to do animated works, but I can't really afford to do that because I don't have that rendering power or the money to continuously do that.
mm.
Um, as of lately, yeah, I've started to get some, but I wish I could go back and change some of these NFTs like to what I really wanted to make them at the time, but just couldn't.
Well, I mean,
Um,
you still can, like, um the way I've been treating it is like we have the opportunity again, like, you know, we hear talks in the space where people are like, um yo, utility, and then so you can also use that as like a redux, right? You know, this is the new version, and you can introduce utility to collectors who own it, for example, or stuff like that, you know. It's you know,
that's true.
like, don't block off like reworking old stuff because it's already minted, like, yo, do it, you know. You got like
Yeah,
you have skills now that, like, even I look at some works that like I have skills that I didn't have 6 months ago that would really help certain NFTs, right? And so why stop there? We're not like, NFTs didn't stop us, why stop there, right?
yeah. If I could go back, I would definitely use denoising on all of my renders because I didn't learn about denoising until like let me see.
Was it until like optics denoiser came out?
No, so Patifasimus Octane renders denoiser. It has a
Okay.
denoising option built in. So I learned in Patifasimus that I can denoise, and I was like, well, fuck. Like, I could have been using this the whole time.
Well, but
It was like, there's so many renders.
honestly, like, funny enough, I don't know if you've noticed this, but noise has been developing as like an aesthetic thing in the space as of late. Like, just
Yeah.
the use of noise filter, and it's like I've noticed it because like I started putting it into all of my works now, where it's just like, I don't know why, but I think it's because like noise helps bridge the digital, like it helps really connect that digital sense of works, right? Where it's like I'm looking at NFT, it's got some digital noise to it, but also like, man, like some of like primal creation has some noise on it, but it still looks fucking great. Like, I mean, this is my personal opinion, right? But it's like, again, this, to those listening, this is Anubis 3100's personal opinion. But like, I prefer it with the noise than without the noise. But that's,
Yeah.
again, that's just aesthetic person. Like, that's gonna change from one person to person, right? But like, that's a thing that's been developing in the space.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I've been seeing it, and my buddy's been trying to get me to do it. I guess noise is just basically film grain, which a lot
Yeah,
of movies use film grain because it bridges that aspect of digital and real. It helps
yeah,
mesh them together. So
and
yeah, I agree.
and just, and like, again, like there's just something nice about just like grain and noise. I don't know. I just like it. It's just like I just want to touch it, even though it has no texture. Just like, oh,
Makes it almost feel real.
yeah.
It, yeah, I agree. But
Um,
yeah, nothing too much about the neon uh, primitives, I guess.
well, but goddamn, mod, what, sir? You dropped the knowledge today. You dropped hidden secrets, army man's, fucking esport man's. Holy shit, we're talking. I'm legitimately convinced, mod, you're fucking Tony Stark. Um, at this point,
Maybe I will be in the future.
I I think. Listen, you heard it here first. I'm gonna call it right now. I bet you. and I don't have any siblings. So I bet you my brother's kidney that he's the new Tony Stark, and you can. I guarantee people can come and try to collect on that. I will win either way.
Or they could just collect these arts. Man. Yeah, but super rare's next, and then some more works with utility, possibly, and
Is I
yeah,
can't wait.
different projects.
I can't wait. It's gonna be
And then
exciting.
I guess I'll hit up Maddie and see if he'll let me build on his plot because
Please,
I've got some ideas for some structures.
please. It's I like this is just me as as a person who's been a fan of your work ever since I joined the space and seen you active on Twitter. Like, it would be fucking sick to see a mod piece in Decentraland, especially with their like night moon setting. Have you
Ooh.
seen their like night moon view, whatever the fuck, what is it called?
I
Their
haven't.
So if Decentraland allows you to switch day views from day to night, and
Mm.
so their sky is their sky essentially turns from like a normal day sky to like purple where you can see like the moon up top and shit. And so like with your neon signs, it would be fucking insane, right? Like, holy shit, because especially
Yeah.
Decentraland has PBR too.
Yeah.
So, do it.
I could definitely whip up something really cool for him, and add quite a bit of neon. Of
It would.
course, I like to keep the neon to a minimal feel, but it'll add. I'll make it work.
It would be wild. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe in the future, I don't know. I like, yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll see like a moon gate in Decentraland. That,
Yeah.
well, I mean, you technically can build a moon gate in Decentraland and have it teleport you to another place that looks wildly different. So
That's true.
that's
That's a
actually
good
wild.
idea.
All
Just
right,
gonna put that one in my pocket.
all right. Just it's you. I just please just be like, hey, a dog told it to me. That's it. That's all I ask.
Well,
Well,
I appreciate you having me on. It was actually really awesome talking with you and chatting. It was
yo,
really cool.
it was
Thank you.
great. To those listening, mods links are in the description. I have your. I'm essentially gonna include all your links that you have in your Twitter
Okay.
bio and your Twitter there as well. And
Okay.
so, to those listening, they are below. Go check him out. Go follow him on Twitter. Really fucking great art. Um,
Thank you.
and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.